Good afternoon and welcome to the State Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, October the 11th of 2022. We are going to start today's meeting with our Pledge of Allegiance led by our Chair-elect, Dr. Stapleton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for that. And we will move along now to the approval of the State Board of Education minutes for September the 13th of 2022. Is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Hearing none, the minutes are approved by unanimous consent. Next item is approval of the State Board of Education agenda for today, October the 11th. Is there any objection to approving the agenda as presented? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. I don't have anything to show me that we have any visitors or news media present. So if you are.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if I may, I know we have at least one person who has not been to this meeting before, and he may not have signed in, but I want to recognize Matthew Ferguson, who is the Executive Director of the Education Oversight Committee, who's with us today, and Dana Yao from the EOC also. So glad to have y'all.
thanks for coming. Welcome to both of you. I'm glad to have you with us today. So I'm going to start briefly with my report, and it's probably more of a statement than a report. As most of you know, I'm the safety director in our school district here in South Carolina, and the events of the last week have been terribly concerning with these so-called swatting incidents. And that's where people are making calls in to the local 911 centers or schools, indicating that there's an active shooter on campus. This is a very elaborate hoax because they have specific information about the schools and communities. And what it serves to do is to not only, it disrupts the school day, it traumatizes the students and staff, traumatizes parents, as far as how, they all want to go to school and make sure their kids are all right.
Would you hold just a minute? I
Yes.
don't think our microphones are working, are they? Testing, testing. Maybe pull it in a little bit closer. Are y'all hearing okay in the back?
Is that any better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And so I just wanted to take a moment and first of all say, when we do active shooter drills, it's prescribed by law, and many districts do more than what's prescribed by law. This is part of the reason we do it. You never know when it's going to be the real thing. So I want to commend our districts and our school administrators who are the ones that train to make sure our students and staff are prepared, and heaven forbid that we don't have a real one. I also want to commend our local law enforcement agencies that have to respond to this. Obviously, this ties up their resources, their time, it's great expense, but they treated every one of these as if it was the real thing. And that's what they're trained to do, and they did it exceptionally well. And then finally, I also, in addition to the local law enforcement who's investigating, the State Law Enforcement Division, the FBI are also involved in this investigation. And it's certainly my hope and prayer that they can find these people and bring them to swift and severe justice. So that's my report for this month. Madam Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I could not agree with you more. Thank you for making those comments. Hats off to our well-trained educators who handled, as far to my knowledge, everything went just as it should have, had it been an actual circumstance. And special thanks to the law enforcement personnel for working with us so swiftly and accurately, and to the families, to the students, educators. What a traumatic event it was for the whole state of South Carolina, but we're really proud of the way they handled it, and I too hope that we quickly, I know the FBI and our SLED agents all are working together to find who's responsible for this, and that they be handled with severe consequences, because the disruption that it brought to learning and the trauma that it brought to everyone is just ridiculous, actually. So Thank you for those comments. I just had lunch while you all were working hard. I had the benefit of going over and having lunch with our state principals of the year and assistant principals of the year. They're not going to be with us today, but I did want to recognize each of them. Ms. Renee Harris from Beach Hill Elementary School, Dorchester 2 is our state Principal of the Year for Elementary. She just got back from a beautiful recognition trip sponsored by the National Association of Elementary School Principals to Washington, D.C., where they were entertained graciously as they deserve. So she does a wonderful job. Megan Carrero from Fulmer Middle School over in Lexington 2 is our middle school principal of the year, and Andrew McMillan, Chapman High School in Spartanburg 1. Of course, these are named principals of the year through SCASA and their national affiliates, the Secondary Principals Association, Middle and Elementary Principals Association, and the middle and high school winners will be competing next year for the national award. The elementary does not do a national elementary principal, but they do honor them very royally. Our assistant principals of the year were outstanding from Catawba Trail Elementary School in Richland 2, Tia Jones. From Pamplico, Hannah Pamplico Elementary Middle School in Florence 2, Amy McAllister. And Batesburg-Leesville High School, Lexington 3, Era Roberts. Just all very outstanding. We spent about an hour together talking about the issues. School safety was one of those, teacher recruitment, another huge issue, and just how do they balance the need to educate our children in somewhat difficult political weather that we're in, where folks differ on many different issues, including what needs to be taught in the public schools. So we're in good hands with the leadership of these folks. So I thank SCASA for sponsoring the event, and congratulations to these outstanding leaders. This past week, the Department of Education, along with partners, we were very proud to present the 2023 South Carolina African American History Calendar. This is our 34th year of this event, where we honor at least 12. Sometimes there are multiple people, maybe a family on a month, but we honor these wonderful citizens who have had a tremendous impact on South Carolina, and they have some connection with South Carolina. Most were born here, others have lived here, but extraordinary impact, not just on our state, but in our nation and around the world. And we had a wonderful event over at the Koger Center. Hats off to our staff who put that together with our partners from USC, Dominion Energy, and I should probably WIS-TV and ETV, all of us work together. But it is a remarkable event, and I believe you have at your place this year's calendar, which is a pretty hot item. And if you would, we do have a few more. So if you have friends or family that you would like to give copies to, please see Derek. We'll get those to you. We want to get them out of the building. We do get requests from around the world. This calendar the calendar, as it's known, is highly regarded. So please, as state board members, help distribute that to your community and enjoy using the calendar. And finally, I had a unique opportunity over the last few weeks. It started on Sunday night, Monday, 2 weeks ago, with the South Carolina Computer Science Summit that we sponsored in Greenville. Governor McMaster attended that, as did Governor Asa Hutchinson from Arkansas. And the reason he was invited is because we sort of battle it out with Arkansas. Our two states are the two top states in the nation for the implementation of computer science. In fact, South Carolina was the first state in the nation to require computer science for graduation credit. There are now 5 states that require that. It happened way back 1984, but it was pretty much just keyboarding then. It's grown to much deeper, substantive computer science offerings, and 93% of our high schools, which is the highest in the nation, offer computer science. Now, we need to work on making sure everybody takes it, and studies hard and goes more in-depth. The other factor that we lead the nation is that we have closed the gender gap between female and males. We have, right, as you can see, 46.9, right at a 50-50 percentage there for our young women taking computer science, enrolled in computer science courses. So we were honored. I received this beautiful plaque that I share with all of you and the citizens of South Carolina. If you want to take it home for a week or two and hang it on your wall, we could work something out. And we also, the computer science report was released to the nation while we were there, and we copied the page. There's a page like this for each state, and you can look at the areas where South Carolina leads. There are a few things that we still can do in our policies to serve even better. Working on our state plan, evolving our state plan is one of those that's well underway, and we will have that completed shortly. And I'm just very, very proud of the work that we have done. This has been a collaboration of the department, the governor's office, the General Assembly, Oversight Committee, all have participated in pushing us in this area that is such a high needs area and a tremendous career opportunity. Not just computer science, but now cybersecurity, as South Carolina is one of the target areas of the nation since we are near Fort Gordon. Fort Gordon is the one place in the nation where our military cybersecurity emphasis is focused, and that has bled over into our state, and the opportunities are boundless there. So this is an area that we have got to stay focused on and improving always, and making sure that our students are taught and that we facilitate learning from them in this area. So it's very exciting, and that completes my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, and we have other topics that will be coming on that I'll speak about later.
Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, thank you very much. Madam Parliamentarian, you have anything for us this month? She is shaking her head emphatically no, so we will move on to the next item, which was public comment, and we did not have anyone sign up this month for public comment. So next up will be our state board items, and the Policy and Legislative Committee met this morning. There was a report on the accreditation of school districts in South Carolina, the 2021-22 report that was presented to us as an information item. And then we had 3 requests for property disposals. Local property disposals still have to go through the state board to become finalized, and those were Spartanburg District 3, Cherokee County School District, and Florence 1 School District. Each have properties that those were approved for disposal with. So that being the report of the committee, that also is a form of a motion for accepting that report. Do we have a second? It does not require a second. Anybody have any questions? If not, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the motion carries. And so next, we will move along to Ms. Lee and the Educator Professions Committee report.
Thank you, Chairman Walters. The Education Professions Committee met this morning. We discussed the amended guidelines for South Carolina certification fields and specialized endorsements.
Could you pull the mic a little bit closer?
Okay. This item was tabled to allow additional input from stakeholders. Please anticipate this item being presented to the EPC and State Board of Education in the near future. The Education Professions Committee approved 3 action items. Item 2 on the agenda is the new Educator Preparation Program Approval Recommendation, Francis Marion University Accelerated Master of Arts in Teaching in Early Childhood Education. Item 3 is the new Educator Preparation Program Approval Recommendation, Francis Marion University Accelerated Master of Arts in Teaching in Elementary Education. Item 4 is the approval of out-of-state clinical experience placement for Clemson University. The committee heard 2 information items this morning. They were the Professional Review Committee, PRC, Educator Preparation Provider and Program Updates, and the Assisting, Developing, and Evaluating Professional Teaching Results for 2021-22 and District ADEPT Plans. The committee placed EP 2, 3, and 4 on the consent agenda. Thank you.
And do you have any questions for Ms. Lee? Hearing none, her committee's items are on the consent agenda, which we will address here momentarily. The Standards Learning and Accountability Committee did not meet this month, so they will not have a report. So we will move on to Ms. Chapman and the Educator Licensure Committee, who did meet and had quite a busy morning again.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we acted on 19 cases this morning, resulting in 2 initial certifications, approving those, 15 suspensions, and 2 public reprimands.
Okay, and all of those cases were brought before the full board Educator Licensure Committee, and those were all ratified at that time. The full board committee did meet. We only had 1 case in addition to ratifying the Educator License Committee report, and that particular case involved a breach of contract and a 1-year suspension. So we will move along now to the consent agenda, the items that were previously mentioned. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the motion carries. So at this time, we'll move along to our reports, and we have an item for approval, looks like. Ms. Haddon, you're presenting that for us? Adoption of Rule of Governance, EDF, Procedures for Disciplinary Action of Transportation Certifications.
Yes, sir. This presentation is for the adoption of Rule of Governance EDF, Procedures for Disciplinary Action of Transportation Certificates. It's very similar and based on the Rule of Governance we also use that you guys are familiar with for our teacher cases, which is BCAF. EDF will be for transportation certificates. That includes, of course, bus drivers, but it also includes our mechanics, our trainers, our testers. It is designed so that we can take action on those certifications when necessary. Are there any particular questions about the governance?
When you say that you're going to take action, does that mean their appeal level will be at the state board?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Will they have an appeal level at the state board?
No. And so the way this one is written, it actually makes the hearing officer's decision the final decision of the agency that can be appealed to the administrative law court.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And it is adopted. We'll move along to our information items now, and first up is Dr. Mathis with our literacy update.
My assistants here help me. They enjoy that. I can't leave them out of this.
Thank you.
And actually, the literacy update is really a little bit of a focus on science and end of course, but of course, there's
Thank you.
literacy in science, right? Maybe that's where we struggle the most. These two love passing out papers when they were in school, so that's why I did that. They were the teacher's pet, so got to pass out papers. Want to talk to you a few minutes about the end of course examination program. You often hear us refer to it as EOC, the EOC. So just looking at the information that you have here, last month you reviewed the South Carolina Ready scores grades 3 through 8 in ELA and math, and the South Carolina Pass in science. Just wanted to show you the end of course results. These are our state summative results. These scores count, of course, in our state report card, which will be out next week, and also 20% of the students' final grade. So there's some importance to these tests. So I'm providing you copies for your review, and you will notice as you compare Algebra 1, Biology, English 2, and U.S. History and Constitution from 21 to 22, there was some recovery, but that does not mean we still don't have work to do. We do have significant work to do in each of the areas. I think the end of course results are probably easier to understand than some of our others that present a different type of score, because it's an A to F score, and we all can, that all resonates with us. But you'll notice that we maintained or improved in most of the areas. And please again note that 20% of the students' final grade is averaged into, or is 20% of the score is averaged into, let me repeat that. The students' final grade, there's 20% that counts toward their final grade. A couple of things for you to note during the review as we typically look at these exams. When you think about algebra and English, students have had that throughout their K-12 career, or the algebra and English skills and math skills that accompany them all the way through. Biology and U.S. history often present problems for us, and I think some of that is because while they've had science skills and they've had social studies skills, there's so much in biology and U.S. history that's new to them. And a couple of other caveats this year. I think in our U.S. history standards were introduced during the pandemic, and then a new assessment was also introduced. So a little bit of an implementation dip, but also I think impacted by the pandemic. But it doesn't mean, when I'm offering excuses, because we still have a significant amount of work to do in those areas. But if you look at all the scores, and you can see we usually look on either end. Do we have more A's than we did the year before, and do we have less F's? And you see that in most of the cases except the U.S. history. I do want to introduce Lark Widener. Is Lark here? There's Lark. Stand up, Lark. She is our new, one of our new Ed Associates in Science, and as a former science teacher, and brings a wealth of information to us. She and the staff in the Office of Assessment and Standards have done significant work as we introduce our new science standards. You approved those last year. We began the implementation, professional training around those this year, and then next year we will fully implement and assess. The science, Lark and the other associates in the office came to me and said that they had a suggestion for our new science standards, and I want to share that with you, which is on the second page of your handout. Really, I think at the end of the day, to take out the guesswork of what's assessed. When you think about biology in high school, and Dr. Woodall, weren't you a former science teacher? There's so much in biology that carries over to biology too, and anatomy and physiology. All those standards oftentimes run together. So the office here is going to really identify the biology content and the performance expectations for 3 courses: Biology 1, Biology 2, and Anatomy and Physiology. So that will help know which standards, which biology standards, which science standards are taught in each course, and help us then inform the right assessment that would be for the end of course for Biology 1. It will bring more clarity, we think, to Biology 1 teachers, or to to all science teachers there, but especially when that end-of-course exam is given to our students. So my hat's off to our folks here. It's going to take extra work for them to really put those standards into a content course that can be easily lifted and used out in the field. So there again, it will provide better information, I think, for our teachers as to what to focus on and then what is ultimately assessed. We can do this now because we merged our Office of Assessment and Standards, and so as we've merged those two offices, as now we begin to develop those assessments, they were the ones that helped write those standards. So that test that's going to be developed is going to be perfectly aligned, hopefully, to our standards. So again, the idea of that merger and what our work is to focus on the standards and take the guesswork out of what's assessed. So I'll be glad to take any comments or questions around that, but that will be our focus moving forward.
Questions for Dr. Mathis? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, Ms. Mack with our Allendale and Williamsburg updates.
Good afternoon, everyone. So glad to be here. I'm going to share with you about Allendale and Williamsburg County School Districts. On Saturday, September the 17th, Saturday school began in Allendale County School District, and it's to provide support to students in reading, math, and end-of-course subject areas. Allendale Fairfax High School hosted a college application day on September the 20th, and the seniors had an opportunity to apply for South Carolina colleges and universities at no cost. And on September 26th, Allendale County School District hosted a school board community meeting and had over 150 people in attendance. In Williamsburg County, they hosted College Application Day on September 15th at Kingstree and Hemingway High Schools. The Kingstree High School Homecoming Alumni Tailgate raised $30,000 that was donated to Kingstree High School. And the district is partnering with Freedom Readers out of Horry, Georgetown area to provide one-on-one tutor support to build reading fluency at Greeleyville Primary, C.E. Murray Elementary, W.M. Anderson Primary, Kenneth Gardner Primary, and Hemingway Elementary. This concludes my report.
Any questions for Ms. Mack?
I have just a couple comments. Thank you, Ms. Mack. Great report. I did want you all to know, I went down to Williamsburg, I guess that's now week before last, right when the hurricane was about to land in South Carolina. So we had a very lovely ceremony honoring Dr. Rose Wilder. The Williamsburg School District, along with the Department of Education, presented a beautiful plaque honoring her work, her impact on public education in South Carolina and the Williamsburg County School District, as they named their multipurpose room at the district office in the Rose H. Wilder multipurpose room. So it was a beautiful event. Her entire family was there. They did a lovely, lovely job, and we were just so thankful to have Dr. Wilder as our friend who helped us down in Williamsburg. Both of our districts are moving forward. We are working with their boards. The ideal situation is that before our administration closes, that we will transition full authority back to the local boards. That has not been fully decided. We're still observing, and there are elections that will be held in just a few weeks for school board members, and we may even give another chance for that board to meet and just see how things are going. I would say that Allendale we're just very, very impressed with how their board is working and supporting the superintendent. The community response there has been tremendous. They're having several hundred people show up for their monthly community meetings, and tremendous amount of community support there. And Dr. Gilmore feels very good and very favorable response in working with the board. In Williamsburg, Dr. Kelvin Wims is working there. We're moving forward. We do still have a few big issues ahead of us there with the community, so no final decision has been made. We're going to try to do the right thing, and if it's time to transfer that authority back to their board, we will do that. If not, it will continue over into the next administration. But I am pleased, tremendous improvement in both places with the operations of their district. And I think we're beginning to see, we've done a lot of professional development. The scores at Allendale are beginning to show some improvement. I think 10 points on their reading scores this past year. We've started the science of reading. Their teachers have been trained, so we're beginning to see some results. This is sort of unfortunately, the student achievement going up is the hardest to accomplish. But I do think we have laid the groundwork and have the professional development, the resources in place for that to begin happening now. So I'm excited, and I think as board members, you will be able to witness that hopefully over this next year. Report cards, Dr. Mathis mentioned, report cards will be released on Monday. That will be a big day for all of us. We're working closely with the Education Oversight Committee for that announcement, and while the scores are not where we all want them to be, we'll celebrate the things that are showing progress, and we'll be honest about the places that are not. So there's still a lot of work to be done. While I'm talking, may I go ahead with one more thing?
Yes, ma'am. The floor is
So I don't
yours.
have to interrupt you again. It just dawned on me that this meeting will be our Director of Governmental Relations, Katie Nilgis' last meeting. I don't know that this news is out. I may be the one who's saying it to the world for the first time, but Katie has a wonderful opportunity with another state agency that I won't announce yet until they get a chance to make the announcement. Stand up, Katie. She's done a tremendous job representing us, started out with us as an intern while she was in law school, and has been in this role and has established wonderful relationships over at the General Assembly with other state agencies, and certainly here in the department. We appreciate her. We love her. We're going to miss her tremendously, but we wish her the best of luck because it's a great opportunity. So if you'll help me in thanking Katie.
And I'm sure Katie's going to change her phone number as soon as she leaves here, too, so we won't be calling her anymore like we do, at least I do, constantly. So, but thank you for your service. You've certainly been a great help to us, the board, and all the work you've done at the State House. So it's very much appreciated. And we are at the point well, first of all, anybody have any questions for the superintendent on her additional items? Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but I do have an acknowledgement relative to the superintendent. I've had the benefit of lots of years of serving on the State Chamber of Commerce Board, and we're having our annual meeting this year in Kiowa at the Sanctuary, and I'm pleased to announce that we will be honoring our superintendent as the Public Servant of the Year.
All right.
I'm looking forward to being part of that presentation, Molly.
Now I know who made the nomination. Thank you, Mr. Brennan. I'm very honored, looking forward to being with you all. Thank you.
Well, and it's certainly well-deserved. Speaking of elections, as we head toward wrapping up here, we will meet next month on Election Day, November the 8th. So don't forget, early voting starts on October 24th, or you can vote absentee, but be sure and vote because you're going to be here with our smiling faces all day on Election Day this year. Don't forget your travel forms as well. And unless anybody has anything else for the good of the cause,
If you need
Get your
extra
calendars.
calendars, yeah.
this meeting will be adjourned.